welcome back to another video. It's a baby girl Mmasom here again. In today's video, I'll be sharing 7 costly mistakes that young people make, and I suggest you avoid them. And of course, before I start, I want to give a shout out to this great pal here for a beautiful comment in my last video. If you want a shout out, hit the like button, subscribe, and drop a beautiful comment. So let's jump right into the video, and definitely I'll save the best for the last, so watch till the end. Mistake number 1 is not paying attention to an elder's counsel. Not having a father figure speaking over into your life as a young person. It's sad that most times when we get to a certain level, we pose as monotonous and sideline any external advice from our elders pertaining to our growth in different spheres of our life. Don't forget that our first parents made that mistake, and that landed the entire world in jeopardy if not for the saving grace of Jesus. No matter how famous and great Moses had gotten, by the time his father-in-law visited, he needed to pay attention to him for his health and growth in ministry. So let's stay humble. This brings me to mistake number 2, and that's being disrespectful to the older generation. Due to the increase in technological advancement and technical know-how in our current generation, there is a tendency for the youth to assume greater insights in navigating through technology and science, leaving the older ones wowed and impressed. Unfortunately, the illusion of greater wisdom on the part of the youth gradually brings them to falsely assume superiority over the older generation, and this consciously and unconsciously yields to disrespect and disregard for the older generation, forgetting they possess even greater wisdom with their gray hairs. Number 2 takes me to number 3, and that is not paying attention to your present actions, forgetting that it is a foundation to your future realities. Always remember that every single action you take has a ripple effect to it. One simple bite of a fruit by our first parents led to the fall of mankind. That little thing you do that seems not to matter may have a bizarre consequence attached to it that may bring a whole lot of regrets in the future. So be careful. Now this takes me to number 4, and that is not paying attention to our health. We tend to let ourselves be deceived by our youthful age, forgetting that the things we consume into our body in this season of our lives can cause us serious health problems in the future. It is very funny when people say one thing must kill a man when they are confronted by this truth. I'm sure you've heard that before, or probably you've used it. But my simple question is, do you really intend to allow your current pleasure and enjoyment today be your downfall and end tomorrow? So make a wise choice. Now this definitely takes me to number 5, and that is not paying attention to your soul. Of course, our soul comprises of our mind, the intellectual faculty, our will, and our emotions. What we consume daily with our eyes or our ears, which are the inputs to our soul, is very significant to the health of our soul. As we ought to pay attention to the health of our bodies, so also do we need to pay attention to our soul. Just as John said in 3 John 2, I wish above all things that you prosper and be in health, even as your soul prospers. The prosperity of your soul depends on the kind of content you consume, which includes the books you read, the movies you watch, and the music you listen to. These things, in my opinion, have to be scrutinized so that you consume the right ones that will lead to the prosperity of your soul. And godly content is the best for the health of your soul. Number 5 brings me to number 6, and that is now paying attention to your spirit, which communicates to you through your conscience. Our conscience works in conjunction with God through our spirit to remind us the instructions of God and to lead us through the right path of God's purpose for us all. When we neglect the promptings of our spirit through our conscience, we are definitely not paying attention to our spirit and what God is saying to us per time. When we fail to feed our spirit with the things of God, we numb our conscience from perceiving what is right from wrong, and thereby putting our lives in jeopardy. Let's stay sensitive to the Spirit of God to be able to live our best life. Now to the most important, finally, not paying attention to our source of life, our God Almighty, is the biggest mistake any young man can make. Unfortunately, this is the most common error we make as humans, but this error can cost us every single thing, including our very life. God is the source of our being, and for us to continue to live and grow and prosper, we must stick to our source and follow his promptings. Obedience. honor, and worship is what he truly deserves from us, and our very being needs him for sustenance. The very moment we stop paying attention to him and start ignoring him, we start dying a spiritual death that may end up in a physical death. Above all, never lose your vision of Jesus. Keep your eyes ever on him, for many precious and beloved ones have lost their way, for they lost their vision of God. Now friends, I'm certain this video blessed you completely. How about you sharing this video with your friends? Like, comment, subscribe, and drop a beautiful comment, and I'll love to see you in my next video. Love you.